Hey everyone, I'm T3 Ambassador Josh Liu here, and today I'll be showing you how to create a frizz-free voluminous blowout with the T3 AireLuxe Dryer and the 2.5-inch round brush. So my texture is about medium fine texture. It's just really long. I do have a lot of it. And so I'm gonna go ahead and use the T3 AireLuxe Blow Dryer. And I'm gonna use the highest heat setting and the highest speed setting. And I'm gonna go ahead and create a voluminous side part blowout. When creating a voluminous blowout look, I like to make sure I'm really organized with my sectioning. So I'll section the front part separately from the sides and the back, and I'll focus on the sides and the back first. I'm gonna take my front section and clip it out of the way, and I'm gonna take it from the front of my hair to the crown of my head. When working on your back and side sections, you wanna go ahead and keep them separate. You can clip this out of the way if it helps you more, or you can just kind of work separately. I'm gonna work separately because I don't really need to clip this out of the way. And I'm gonna lift at the root using the 1¼ inch T3 round brush. And I'm just gonna over direct it upwards as I'm drying. So to dry my hair, I'm gonna turn on the volume booster button. This technology actually turns off the ions, so that way you can have a super bouncy, fluffy, and voluminous blowout. So I like to split the back sections in two, and I'll take like the top portion and work on over directing that upwards. I'm gonna now use the cool shot button to kind of make sure I lock that volume in place. When you have really long hair, you wanna make sure you're going slow and working through from roots to end, and really take your time on getting the hair dry. You might wanna do this once or twice to get it fully dry. And then once it's about like 80 to 90% dry, go ahead and focus on curling the ends and then wrapping it up and rolling it all the way up to the top. And then you wanna go ahead and let the heat sit on it just for a little bit and then cool shot it. So that way your hair isn't trying to dry while you're also trying to curl it. You wanna make sure you're doing the drying first. For the front sections, you wanna make sure you're really over directing up for maximum volume and maximum lift. If your hair is too long, don't worry about it too much. As long as you're lifting at the root and drying it upwards there, you can dry the rest straight across. So that way you don't have to overwork your arm. One thing to note when cooling it, don't press it directly against the barrel because you will create a crease. You want to make sure you're gently cooling it from the outside. If you have long hair, when you unravel your curl, you want to gently unravel and then twist the ends. So as you can see, since we over directed this upwards, it has that little root lift that this side doesn't really have. If you have really thick hair, make sure you take your time at the root to heat it up. Don't rush through the section. So since I'm parting my hair this way, I'm actually gonna take kind of sideways sections. So I'm gonna go ahead and blow dry my hair in sections this way and towards that direction. And then I'm going to go ahead and flip it back over. So for my 3 sections, I'll have one in the back, one in the center, and one in the very front. And I'll be blow drying them all this direction. So the whole concept of this is that when you blow dry your hair this way and you push all your follicles towards that way, when you flip it over to this side, it wants to go that way. So it creates a ton of volume. So we'll go ahead and do the first section and I'll show you how much volume it creates. So as you can see, since I over directed all the hair that way when I did the blowout, the hair follicles want to point that way. So now it's like coming over, creating a super voluminous blowout look. I'm going to repeat this process on the next 2. When drying the root and creating maximum volume, you really want to make sure your hair is 100% dry, because if it's not 100% dry, the moisture will weigh it down. So you want to make sure it's completely dry, all the product is in it, it's ready to go. If you have face framing layers like I do, some of the pieces might actually fall out when you're rolling it up. Don't worry about those. You can do those in a separate section or at the end. Just focus on getting it dry and smooth and beveling them as you go down the hair shaft. So now that I finished blow drying it all this way, you can go ahead and drag all the sections to the other side. As you can see, it has a very dramatic amount of volume, especially when you're blow drying everything towards the opposite direction of your parting. So now when I flip it this way, I can go ahead and mold it and shape it to the exact kind of volume and height that I want. So look at this volume and look at the bounce and look at the shine. This kind of blowout lasts like about 2 to 3 days, I feel like, on average, depending on your hair type, of course. But I feel like when you over direct and you're using your volume booster button, all these things built into the T3 AireLuxe make it so great at creating a voluminous, bouncy blowout.
So good. Yes.
Thanks so much for joining me today as I created this look.